Going to learn the second perek in the Meseches Bava, and we're studying it Leilu Nishmas, our precious dear son Levi Yitzchok, Rabbi Levi, as he was very affectionately known, who passed away all of a sudden in the prime of his life. He was a dedicated shliach, a servant of Hashem, and had tremendous success in bringing people closer to Yiddishkeit, to Torah and mitzvahs, and we all miss him terribly, and we're learning it. It's still b'toich hashloishim. It's actually only 10 days, 11 days since we got the bitter news, and we're trying to do everything possible for the benefit of his neshama. So we're starting Perek Beis. Mishnah Aleph. Says the Mishnah, Keitzad Horegel Moedis. So in the previous Mishnah, we learned that one of the Avos Meloches is Hasher, which meant the regel. So now the Mishnah wants to know, how is it that when the damage of the foot, we considered it to be prone, that it considered that you are, as if you were warned, that you need to know that if the animal is going to go, in what way will it become, do we say that it was prone? So the Mishnah will explain. Kate, so that regel moedes koloimar. It means, what is we asking over here? Be'eza dover horegel moedes. In what matter is the foot considered muedes, that it's prone, that it has been forewarned that this is going to happen? So the Gemara answers l'shaber v'derech hilucha. So Mishani says the Bartanura, the Gemara answers, L'shaber v'derech hilucha, that it breaks while on its way while it's walking. Which means the damage that happens from the foot while the animal is walking, v'kachi moedis, that's the way it is prone. This is the muad, shemishaberes kelim derech hilucha, that she will break vessels in the way that it's walking. So that's the answer to the question. Keitza the regel moedis, how is the regel prone? And the answer is l'shabe b'derech hilucha, that it breaks while it's walking. So now the Mishnah says habehema moedis, the behema is a muad lahalich kedarko u'lishaber. Basically, in previous the Mishnah, we talked about the ovis is Mishalche Regel. We talked about the actual damage of the previous Perek. We talked about the actual damage from the Regel. Here we're talking about anything that the older Tuldus, anything that the animal, as it goes along its way, and anything that it breaks along its way, that is considered to be a muad. So habehema moedis, the behema would be a muad. Zokter Bartanura, that the Reisha Tona Ovis, in the first Perek, in the beginning, over there, he learned the main categories, the categories that are mentioned in the Torah, which would be regel mamish. That would mean the foot, the damage that comes from the leg of the animal. Shadorsa beragleho, that it trampled with his feet. But the Seifa, the second Perek, over here we're talking about Tona Tuldis. We're talking about Tuldis. So he said, when he said Keitza the Rekel Ma'edis L'Shaber V'derech Hilucha, we're talking about the derivatives Shebehema Ma'edis Lahalich Kedarka, that the behema is forewarned, or it's prone to work normally, U'L'Shaber, and to break Begufa, whether it's with his body, U'Besaira, or whether with his hair, U'Bishlif She'olah, or whether it's on the load that it's carrying, bigger load, smaller load, getting entangled. Derech hilucha, as long as it's the way that it's walking, these are all considered the tuldas, the derivatives of regel. That's why it says, habehemo ma'edes, says the Mishnah, the behema would be prone to damages, lahalich kedarko l'shaber, to walk normally, in the normal way, and then to break. But if it uses its legs to do damage in a non-usual way, then if it was kicking. So Mava'etes says the Bartanura Shinu Huzeh. So that's a change. That's not the normal way. That would not be a tulda of regel. That wouldn't be going the tulda de keren. That would be a derivative of keren. That when the ox scores, in this case, the ox kicks. That's also not on the road. That's an unusual way, and therefore, if it kicks, then hilko chatzi nezek v'suloi. That's why it only pays a half a nezek, just like by Keren, the first 3 times you only pay a half of a nezek. So the same thing here, you would only pay a half a nezek because it's unusual for the animal to do the damage by kicking. And there's another case now, which is the din of tzroidus. Oy shehoyu tzroidus minatzin mitachas ragleho. What would be a case? This is walking normally, but tzroidus, these are pebbles that are being shooting out from under her feet. The animal is walking in the street. The street is layered with pebbles, and the pebbles shoot off. And as the Bartnura explains, this is not a change. This is a normal way. And still, the Mishnah will say that if the breaks vessels by the pebbles hitting vessels, you pay only a chatzi nezer. Or if there were pebbles that were being shoot off from the feet of the animal. Afal gav the lav shinuhu. That's not a change. It's not like when it kicks, which is not the normal way for the animal. It's walking regularly on its way, and it shoots the pebble out from its feet. Elo urchu. This is the natural way. But yet there's a special din. Afal became chatzinezek v'suloi. Still, in this case, you only pay a half a damage and not more. That is a halacha by itself. The halacha so gemira law. This is a halacha that we have by tradition that this kind of nezek only pays half of damages. Now, the Bartanura explains, "Ubershus hanizek komar." When do we pay even half a nezek? We're talking about when the animal went into the property of the animal where he damaged, or the kalim where he damaged. He went in there without permission, and it shot the pebbles, so he'll pay half a damages. But if the Birshus Arabim, if it goes in the Birshus Arabim, then you potter b'chlal, not only a half a damages, because regel is potter b'Birshus Arabim. The tzroides tuldo the regel ninhu. Tzroides are still a derivative of regel, just like by regel you potter b'Birshus Arabim, le potter of Birshus Arabim, to exempt in the Birshus Arabim. So just like if the animal hurts by regel, it would be potter. This is also regel because it is tzroides. The payment, we have a special halacha that you're only going to pay a half a nezik, but still it remains a tulda de regel, and you're only chayiv in the rishus of the nizik, where the person that was damaged, the animal, the kid that were damaged, you had no right to be there. But if it's the rishus harabim where you have a right to walk, then you're going to be exempt totally, because damages of regel are exempt in the rishus harabim where you have a right to go. So therefore, the Mishnah says, or if there were pebbles being thrown from under the feet of the animal, b'shibra sakelim, and it broke the vessels, meshalim chatzinezek, you'll pay a chatzinezek, because this is halacha l'Moshe Messina. Weiter, another damage that takes place by the regel, dorso al hakli. So she steps on the vessel. That's a normal damage. While it's walking, it stepped on the vessel, vishavaratu, and it broke the vessel. So that's one damage. It stepped in the vessel, but that vessel shot off a piece of the vessel, a particle from the vessel, and it falls on another vessel and it breaks it. So now it's a tzroides part. Because first it was damaged directly from the leg of the animal. Regel was walking derech hilucha, again in the rishus hanizak, in the rishus, and then it shot off also, and it broke another vessel. So then, on the first one, you will pay half a whole nezek, because that's regular. And on the second one, that it bounced off from the first one, that's straight as you pay half a nezek. So the Bartanura. Oy shoy tzroides minat no dorsala kliv shavratu. If he stepped on a vessel and it broke it, and then it falls on another vessel and it breaks the other vessel. V'nofal kli achar. Zok the Rashba, zok the Bartanura. Rishay niske regel hein. The first one are damages of the regel. Umeshalames nezek shalom. That's why you pay a full nezek. And the second one, the latter one, the second keli, they were broken through the pebbles, and therefore you're only going to pay hilkach chatzinezek. That's why you're only going to pay half of the damages. So that's what we say. If he stepped on a vessel, he broke it, and then it falls on another vessel and he breaks it. Is then the din is al harishan on the first vessel mishalim nezek shalom, because that's the regular damages. V'la'achar mishalim chatzin nezek, you pay half the damages. Now we have hatar negolim. So these are the chickens. Mu'odim lahalich kedarkom u'l'shaber. They're prone to walk normally, and they're breaking while they're walking. What happens? So if they break something while they're walking, then directly, then they will have to pay a full nezek. But hoyo delil kosher beraglov. But if there was a something tied to the foot of the chicken. So if the delil was tied to his foot, and the Bartanura says that kol davar haniksha beregula tarnegolis, anything that is tied to the foot of the chicken kori delil is called a delil. So delil means something tied to the foot of the chicken, or v'iz the garisidli. There's some others have the version a deli that would be like a little bucket, and what happens is later on that delil or that little bucket, whatever it is, shoots off. It was seen in a minute. The same thing is the chicken is jumping around. Mahadis Rashi Merakid is jumping. Others said he was digging with the feet in the ground like the chickens do. That means Mahadis. Either way, the bottom line is the way the damage over here was done was that it shots off Umeshaber es HaKelim, and it broke the Kalim. So in that case, Mishalom Chatzinezek, you pay half a nezek. And the Bartanura explains why half a nezek, why only half of the damages. The Dlil Hainut Sroidus, because the damage was done by the thing that was tied. That's like a pebble shooting off. So the tied piece to the chicken's foot is the Sroidus. The Dlil Adainuhu Litzroidus al Hakelim, because it is with that delil that he shot the pebbles onto the kalim. So this is the same as shooting pebbles. It's not breaking it directly, but it's tzroidus. Hidus nami, and the same thing when it jumped or he dug, he goes shehitis. That it's talking about that he pushed, that he through the pebbles. The bottom line is those pebbles break the kalim. Basically, we're saying is that it didn't do directly from the chicken, but it's something tied to it. That's why it's called tzreidos.